Hello everyone, and welcome to the Influencer Barbie channel. We have Miss Barbie Roberts, and I am Barbie's assistant. My name is Beverly, and I am an adult Barbie enthusiast. Welcome to our Barbieverse. We create content for people who love all things Barbie as much as we do. Now here, we are getting into the month of June, and one thing I thought I would show you guys is how to make a swimming pool for Barbie and her family. So, as you've seen in some previous videos here on the Influencer Barbie channel, we try to do projects where we recycle a lot. And so one thing that I've been doing is I've been saving various containers to see if they were something that we could use to make a swimming pool for Barbie and family. And what I have here, these are some containers that would be much too small for Barbie or even Skipper to use, but I was thinking that Barbie's younger siblings like Chelsea and also the kids that Skipper babysits could use a wading pool. And so for that, some of these containers would probably work pretty well. And so I've just collected some different containers to show you some ideas of things that we could use. And gosh darn it, I had to get a brownie from Dion's as part of this project. No. Obviously, I wanted to get the brownie, and the container was a nice little extra for it. So, some of these, making a wading pool from these various containers would be something really simple to do. All you would need to do is to cut off this lid and maybe trim down the sides a little bit. And you've got a nice little wading pool. And Chelsea is 7 years old, and she says that she is much too mature to get in the wading pool, and especially something like this would be rather too small for her, but it would be a good size for the kiddos that Skipper is babysitting. So all we need to do is cut off our lid here. And we've got a nice little wading pool for the younger children. And I've got an assortment of other containers. So here are some ideas to do wading pools. Obviously, this is a salad container from Wendy's. And you could use the top or the bottom to do that. That does give you a bit of a sloped edge, which might not be terribly safe for the young children. And we have some other containers from baked goods that would also work well for a wading pool. And if you want something smaller, I think this was a container from guacamole. And so that would be a good size pool for the kiddos. And usually when you have a little wading pool for children, you don't have a clear pool. So here we've got a nice little container. I think this was from some sort of microwave meal. As my husband and kiddo have been wondering about me saving all these different trash items, but I wanted to show you some ideas of things that you could use to make wading pools. And this was a container from some deli meat. So we've got a good rectangular size pool. And then containers like this have sides that aren't as sloped as some of these others, like this one. So it'd be easier to put the babies in for a swimming pool. I have some larger containers that would work as well. And this could be more like a proper sized swimming pool for Chelsea. One of the things I've noticed about the Chelsea dolls is that they always seem to become wearing a leotard or a swimsuit. So I guess that way Chelsea is always ready to jump into the pool. So, but that would be a good size for Chelsea here. And I think this was also some sort of salad greens container. And one idea that I had, and once I get around to putting together the Barbie house and putting together the exterior for it as well, this was actually a lid for a cake. And I saw that and I thought, wow, that would actually work really well to be a lap pool for Barbie or other members of her family. We could put in to the Barbie backyard. So Barbie or her friends can get into swim laps in there. And a friend of mine and I, we have this running joke about needing to make a hot tub for Barbie and friends. So I actually do have a piece that I want to use to put together a Barbie hot tub. So we will try to do that in a video at some point. And another thing that you could use that would work well for a wading pool would be a cream cheese container. And that is a good size. And so I thought one of the things that we would do here, because if you did make a swimming pool from a container of cream cheese or some sort of dip or anything that has printing on the side, well, gosh, you probably don't have a kiddie pool in real life that says strawberry cream cheese spread on it. So what is something that we could do to make this look a little bit more realistic for Barbie and family? So I was at my local Walmart and I saw these rolls of adhesive liner that you can use to line shelves or drawers with. And I don't know how well you can see the pattern on this because it does have a clear wrapper on it. This one has sort of a marbleized pattern to it. And I was thinking this would be something good to use on the floors of the Barbie house, specifically for her kitchen and bathrooms, because it has a fairly subtle pattern. There's some areas that are a little bit darker, but I think it would look good for tiling and be something that gives the floor a little bit more visual interest than just doing a plain white floor for Barbie. In addition to that one with the pattern, I also picked up a roll of the white laminate, and it's a little difficult for me to cut things like this on camera, so I went ahead and cut some pieces off, but I'll show you. There's some nice grid lining on the inside to make it easy for you to cut a straight line here. But since it does have these instructions in the middle, if you need to cut across here, it can be difficult to cut this part straight. And also, it does have some nice lines for quarter of an inch measurements, but obviously these don't go all the way across. So what I found was the easiest way to do that is to take my large quilting ruler, and I could put that down across the grid, draw a line with a pencil, and then cut along that, and that made that a lot easier. And I'll try to find, I got this particular one at Walmart, but I will try to find a link for this at Amazon and include that in the description. So if you are looking for something like that, it is a good crafting tool, I find. So I've gone ahead and cut a strip of the plain white laminate, and this container has a slightly sloped side to it, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to put the laminate around it in a fairly straight position. So we'll give that a try. And this is an adhesive laminate, so all we should need to do is peel the backing a bit, and that is not easy to see and do on camera. And if you can hear Miss Shadow, our executive producer, is below the Barbie studio licking some plastic. I don't know why we suddenly have cat fur here in the Barbie studio. Gee, I wonder where that could possibly come from. Alright, so I am going to try to line this up. I've got a little bit of a ridge here, so I'm hoping that'll help make things a little bit more easily. And I got a little bit of a bubble there. And I am noticing that this white laminate is not exactly great at coverage here. So this may not work out as well as I had hoped. It is fairly stretchy, so I am able to put this down, and it does lift off nice and easily. At this curved, or this angled side to the cream cheese container means that it is not going on entirely straight. Okay, so did not turn out as well as I had hoped. As we can still see the labeling underneath the white laminate, and it's also not very straight. So yeah, I am going to call this a crafting fail, at least with the white. It's just not giving enough coverage to do that. I mean, it doesn't show through quite as badly on camera, but in person I can very clearly see strawberry through that. And like I said, it's not going down quite as smoothly as I would have hoped. So maybe doing a different type of laminate, a darker one, might work better. I did see that they also had sort of a wood grain that I also thought about maybe getting to be flooring in Barbie's house. So maybe we could try this again with wood grain or something else darker. So we're going to unfortunately call that a crafting fail for this. So, but one thing I also thought about doing with the laminate, so in a previous video we did a little quick craft where we took a toothpick holder and turned it into a trash can for the kitchen or bathroom for Barbie. And for that one I just painted the toothpick container with white paint, and I mean, it looks okay. You can definitely see some areas where I didn't quite get the paint evenly. So I thought another possibility to do the trash can would be in using that white laminate cover. So I've cut another piece to be the size for Barbie's trash can. So we'll see about putting that on there. Probably should have left the backing on. And since this one doesn't have sloped sides, I'm hoping it will go on a bit more easily. And since we don't have printing on it, I definitely should have left the backing on because this is sticking to my fingers. Okay, that did take a few tries to get it lined up there, but I think I managed in the end. And I think that's going to look better than the painted version here. You have a little bit of an air bubble there, but luckily we can smooth this out. Since it is removable adhesive, you can pull it up and re-smooth it a little bit better. I'll put our trash bag back in, our lid on. So we do have a little bit of a seam here, but we can just put that in the back if we were to take any pictures in the Barbie house. But this one, I think, definitely came out a lot better for our crafting than our swimming pool cover. So yeah, this is, at least with the white laminate, that turned out to be a crafting fail. But we can try that again with a different pattern of laminate and see if it gives us better coverage. Or try a container that doesn't have all this printing on it. So something like this one would work better for our swimming pool. And one thing I was thinking about for this video, we've got Skipper on a doll stand here because she did not want to stand up on her own. I only have one Skipper doll, and she has the basic 5 points of articulation, so she has very limited movement. And so from the different Barbie television series and the playsets, Skipper does a lot of babysitting, and with her limited articulation in this doll, she can't really take care of the kiddos all that well. And I was wondering, has anyone heard of a Skipper doll that has more articulation as available? I don't think I've ever seen a Skipper doll who has more than the basic 5 points of articulation. And by that I mean she only has movement at the head, shoulders, and hips. So she doesn't have movement at her waist or her elbows, wrists, or knees. So she can't bend down to play with the kiddos in the swimming pools here. And I did hear somebody say that a petite Barbie is a good size match for a Skipper doll. And although I do have a few petite dolls, I only have one petite made to move doll, and that is Miss Ruby Sunday from our Doctor Who collection. I'll put a link to her, the video that we did where we looked at her and the Doctor. And I did take a look, and they are the same height, and they're put pretty close in body proportions. Both Skipper and the petite Barbie doll have a little smaller bust than Barbie does. But Ruby is my only petite made-to-move doll, and so I don't want to body swap her with anyone else. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out to see if I can find another petite made-to-move Barbie doll so that we could give Skipper a bit more articulation. And like I said, if you know of a Skipper doll that has more articulation, let us know in the comments, and we'll see about doing a body swap for Skipper or bringing in a new Skipper doll. I like this one. She, of all the Roberts siblings, she is the only one with brunette hair, and I like this purple streak, or a couple of purple streaks that she's done in her hair. And Skipper is portrayed in the various Barbie TV shows as being much more interested in music and electronics than Barbie and her friends are. And so I think this look definitely gives you that attitude that she has. But I'd like to put her on a body with a bit more articulation. And yes, we are still wanting to give my Barbie here a made to move body, and we're hoping to do that in an upcoming video. So stay tuned for that body swap. So I hope you enjoyed our video here where we showed you some ideas for making some wading pools for these smaller Mattel dolls. And these would actually work well if you wanted to make a regular swimming pool. If you have the Barbie mini dolls that are only 6 inches tall. This Chelsea here is, I believe, 6 inches tall. So that would be a good height for those Barbie dolls. And also our unfortunate crafting fail with the wading pool, but I do think that our trash can came out really nice with this white laminate, and so we're gonna maybe try that with some other Barbie crafts to see what we can do with things around the Barbie house. And also hoping to use this other pattern for the floors in our Barbie house. So thank you very much for watching, and please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to be part of our Barbieverse. And be sure to ring the notification bell. It really does help our channel to grow, and once we hit some subscriber milestones, we plan to have some fun giveaways. And if you'd like a chance of getting a shout out in an upcoming video, just comment below with the hashtag InfluencerBarbie. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in our next episode here in our Barbieverse. Bye-bye! And we're hoping to make that Barbie hot tub at some point, so stay tuned for that. Bye-bye!